Hello dear friends, from time to time on this channel, we have shared many useful compositions related to Ayetel Kursi studies for spiritual change, development and awareness. I know that while some ignored what we said, others took it seriously and accessed the blessings of this verse. Their spiritual blockages were cleared, their guards strengthened, they learned to cope with their fears, their perspective on the world and events changed. He accessed many more blessings. Those who studied these lessons confronted themselves. They realized their own vast seas and arid deserts. They discovered how the universe and all the worlds in the universe are mere specks in the face of the soul they possess, and how this spiritual vastness and the delicate faculties are not even a speck in the face of what. Just as our body needs a certain amount of calories to be able to work in daily life and to be able to stand in a fit state, our soul also needs to be nourished in order to awaken its atrophied human and spiritual faculties, and to put our lives, which have slipped off their axis, on the orbit they should be on with a spiritual evolution. In this respect, I consider the Ayetel Kursi lessons as a vitamin and mineral complex given to the soul, like those pills you take for daily vitamin and mineral supplementation. I think that these studies harmonize the balance of the soul, psychology and body, work like a filter against subliminal messages, adjust the balance of day and night like a delicate balance, and constantly monitor the demand for these lessons in light and darkness, stand behind us as a power against those who stand against us in the dream world, and intervene in front of us without asking us when necessary. At the same time, I know both from myself and from the testimonies of those who study these classes that those who study these classes experience a spiritual purification and change. These were the first classes I took from my late teacher. We now have thousands of brothers and sisters who are studying this two-tiered course, and now we wanted to refresh the Ayetel Kursi studies. We did in this conversation once again, and we wanted those who do not know it to learn it. It is true that we attach great importance and value to the Ayetel Kursi, which consists of 9 words in the 255th verse of Surah Al-Baqarah in the Holy Quran, which was revealed as healing, mercy and guidance. Ayetel Kursi is the identity card, so to speak, of the all-encompassing, merciful and Rahim, to whom everything created is in need and ashamed, and it is a verse in which he introduces himself. The Ayetel Kursi, which is the Sayyid, the master of the verses in the Holy Quran, is a reflection of Allah in the world sky. Ayetel Kursi is both wrath and grace. So let me explain what both wrath and grace means. When Ayetel Kursi descended to the earthly sky, it appeared with such an effect that the earth moved. When it descended to the earth's sky, no one was aware of the name of such a verse or what it said. When Ayetel Kursi descended on the earth that night, all idols fell, the feet of kings became entangled and their crowns rolled away. A panic gripped the realm of Sufriyat. Satan's sons and daughters asked each other in panic, "What is happening tonight?" This verse, whose name was not yet known, made the jinn and the Sufriyat feel its power and might that night. This verse created a shock wave in them. They panicked. They were afraid. That night, Allah bestowed the most powerful spiritual weapon against the jinn on the believing servants, and announced to all the worlds that He was protecting the believers with this verse until the day of judgment. Yes, the Esma Ilahi in Ayetel Kursi is not mentioned as much in any verse, because the name of Allah is mentioned in 17 places in Ayetel Kursi, some explicitly and some hidden. It is specially coded. Ayetel Quran is a protector, a watcher, and a warning both in this world and in the other worldly dimension and in the dream world. Studying Ayetel Kursi regularly has many gains in the world and the hereafter. I will recommend this verse. Working in 2 stages functions like an ointment that repairs the cracks and weak points in your letaifs. Because through these cracks, the Sufi elements spread first to the etheric body and then to the material body. As you read and over time, you will feel the changes in yourself. Maybe you are practicing another Ayetel Kursi. I know that some of our brothers and sisters are reading in higher numbers, but we do not recommend people who will study this verse for the first time to read this verse in high numbers. You can do these lessons while you are working in your shift, while you are driving, while you are walking on the road, that is, while you are busy with a job. But I would recommend that you do it in a single sitting at home when you are relaxing. Believe me, this study deserves 40 minutes of your time at home. You do not have to do ablution. However, be careful to perform ghusl ablution. This study is done first for 21 days, 21 times, and then 41 times every day without limiting the number of days. A novice aspirant who intends to become a master of Ayetel Kursi will study Ayetel Kursi 21 times for 21 days in the first lesson. This study is done as part of a prayer and with the intention of Allah's pleasure. It lasts for 21 days, and you will complete the daily number to 21 with the Ayetel Kursi you recite at the end of the prayers, or at work when you go to bed at night, or when you enter and leave the house. Our female sisters can continue to recite this verse on their special days. Yes, after 21 days of studying 21 Ayetel Kursi, we can start studying 41 Ayetel Kursi with the intention of Allah's sustenance. There is no day limitation in this study. From now on, including Ayetel Kursi in your life as a necessity like sleeping and eating, and reading it 41 times every day, will have very positive benefits for you, which I will explain in a moment. Those who study 21 Ayetel Kursi for 21 days develop their senses. Some events during the day inspire their hearts. They are protected by an angelic power. Sometimes they experience such events that they realize that invisible guardians are watching over them. The dreams of those who study this lesson become clearer over time. After 21 days and 21 pieces of study, starting 41 lessons every day leads to the forgiveness of sins. Human or spiritual friends and enemies will be revealed for various reasons, and they will no longer be able to harm you. Those who study this lesson increase their powers of judgment. They see through some events. Ayetel Kursi also prevents the loss of property and earnings. Those who make a habit of reciting 41 Ayetel Kursi are now awake in their dreams. They consciously see and experience the events, places and other characters in their dreams. They discover that they now exist in a different reality. As they study this lesson, they become attuned to the vibrations of the higher frequencies, and over time their habits, landscapes, fears and preferences change. They start looking for ways to get rid of their bad habits. They begin to experience unexplained events in their lives that they can call miracles, so to speak. Diseases and epidemics are also negative elements, dear friends. Reciting this verse 41 times will protect you from diseases and epidemics. Those who are studying this lesson for the first time may become irritable, nervous and intolerant in the first days. Do not worry about this because it is only temporary. At the same time, just like in dhikr studies, you may experience headaches, yawning, sleepiness, heaviness, and nightmares in the first days. Although this may seem like the negative effects of the work you are doing on you, it is actually signs that it is actually working positively, removing the negative blockages that have been accumulating on you for years, and these states will disappear over time. So, if you experience such states, stay calm and don't leave the lesson you are studying, because the Vasvasa will tell you to leave the lesson you are studying. To give an example, the Quran is like a wild horse that is disobedient at first. As you continue to read it, it becomes docile and harmonizes with you. Now, a question like this may also come up. Brother, can we do these readings with the intention of an intention, a wish or a pilgrimage? Let me give an example from myself. I always do my recitations for the sake of Allah. My wishes have been accepted and I have achieved my pilgrimage. So you recite for the sake of Allah and leave the rest to Him. He knows very well what to do. One of the most common requests we receive is from those who suffer from frequent nightmares in their sleep and what they experience. Yes, the cure for nightmare is the verse of the Quran. This study is different from others. 21 days between afternoon and evening prayer, this is the point where there is absolutely no compromise. 21 days between afternoon and evening prayer is done by reciting 70 verses. Those who do this study do not do the other 21 and 41 studies. Also, again, there is no wiggle room in this study. It is done for 21 days continuously and only between Asr and Maghrib, reciting 70 verses in a single sitting. Let's place this two-stage work in our lives and never abandon it in order to be protected from the taunts of negative elements, to be protected from the traps of Vesvasa, to be healed, to be blessed, to remove the blockages formed in our household and on us, to bind the tongues of those who make backbiting, to discourage those who harbor envious feelings, to create a shield against the negative feelings of those who cannot attract our happiness, and to achieve our pilgrimages. May the pure-hearted people who intend to do these works be auspicious and blessed. May Allah make it permanent and fruitful. May Ayetel Kursi be your companion at all times. Be entrusted to Allah. Stay in good health.